There is something seriously wrong going on when it comes to sports. The integrity is more questionable now than it has ever been before. Late last month, as we all know, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, all arrested for illegal gambling. In Damon Jones' case, in Chauncey Billups' case, in Terry Rozier's case, we're talking about fixing.
All right, here's what nobody's ready for. This isn't one school, this isn't one scandal, this is happening at 3 different programs, all at the same time, and it's spiraling into the biggest gambling crisis college basketball has ever faced. And trust me, what's already public, that's just the surface. The real story goes way deeper. Everyone's fixated on the 6 players who got banned. But what about the ones who didn't get caught? These schemes are so sloppy you almost have to wonder, are these guys clueless, or is there an entire network of smarter players flying completely under the radar?
Has an issue on their hand. You had the Michael Porter Jr., the Jonte Porter case. You had the Michael Beasley case that's still up in the air. Most recently, Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones. Basketball is in a place. Is something going to come down the pike when it comes to the WNBA? When it comes to WNBA leadership? WNBA officials, perhaps. WNBA players, perhaps. Going 2 for 15 on a random Wednesday.
And then he said something most people skipped right over. The WNBA.no one's watching for gambling over there. Nobody's investigating. Nobody's looking at stat anomalies. If players are getting away with it in college and pro leagues, what's stopping anyone from trying it in a league with low scrutiny? After this, you'll never look at a bad shooting night the same way again. The biggest name in the scandal, B.J. Freeman. Not a bench guy, not a walk-on. Arizona State's second leading scorer.
Never play college basketball again, nor will the former players at Mississippi Valley State and New Orleans. Said Quavius Hunter, Daquavian Short, Jamon Vincent, Donovan Sanders, and Alvin Stredrick. Freeman's case was first reported by CBS Sports in September. The NCAA uncovered his infractions while looking into a different case tied to former Fresno State basketball player Mikal Robinson. Records on Robinson's phone indicated that on 4 separate occasions between November and December 2024, Freeman knowingly provided information to Robinson, who was betting on Freeman through daily fantasy sports accounts. According to the committee on the infraction report, Freeman also knowingly provided information on at least 2 occasions to his then-girlfriend, who was also...
And he was leaking inside information to his girlfriend and a guy named Male Robinson that he told them exactly what to bet on, the over on his points, the over on his threes. Then he went out there and tried to hit those numbers. When investigators confronted him, he lied about everything, denied giving info, denied using DraftKings, despite the account literally being in his own name. He was depositing money while still playing at ASU. This wasn't millions. This wasn't life-changing money. This was a kid nuking his own future for a few $1,000s, maybe less, that he got kicked off the team in February, not for gambling, but because he planned to transfer to UCF. He thought he escaped. Then the hammer dropped, permanently banned from college basketball. Career over before it ever really started.
For the NCAA's finding, a student athlete reported overhearing Quavius Hunter and Daquavian Short and Jamon Vincent discussing a third party placing a bet for them on their December 28, 2024 game. The same student athlete reported that during a timeout near the end of the game, Short instructed him not to score any more points. Hey, play some bets. Don't score any more points so my bets can hit. Don't score any more points so the people who I told to bet on this can hit. The 3 players were suspended at the end of January last season and never... Then
things get unhinged. At the University of New Orleans, a player was overheard during a timeout saying, "Don't score any more points so my bets hit." In a live game. On the sideline. In front of coaches. In front of cameras. Another witness overheard players, Quavius Hunter, Davian Short, and Jamon Vincent, talking about using a third party to place bets for them. And they weren't quiet about it. Investigators later found text messages where Vincent literally told people to bet on the game because they were planning to throw it. 7 games, 7 different games they tried to manipulate.
Calls on the same day with a known bettor who told them to lay it down for the next game. This is as blatant as you can get when it comes to fixing games, rigging outcomes, jonesing the system, if you will. At MVSU, Mississippi Valley State, the NCAA claims it found more of the same, albeit in another scheme that was unconnected to the activity at University of New Orleans. The NCAA's probe began with the team's 79-67 loss at Alabama A&M on January 6th, but as the investigation continued in 2025, they uncovered game fixing dating back to the week of Christmas last.
Then the money trail popped up. Short and Hunter texting about getting $5,000 to throw a game. FaceTime calls with a known bettor giving them instructions on what to wager next. This wasn't immaturity. This wasn't poor judgment. This was organized game fixing, Mississippi Valley State. Straight out of a crime movie, and just when you think it can't get worse, Mississippi Valley State gets involved. The NCAA started investigating one January game, but that led them all the way back to December, uncovering a pattern of game manipulation.
Before a game, he overheard Donovan Sanders on the phone with an unknown third party talking about throwing the game, the NCAA states. Sanders asked the student athlete to participate in the call because the third party had told Sanders the individual intended to bet on the game and wanted to know that another of Sanders' teammates would participate in the scheme. The student athlete denied altering his performance or receiving money from Sanders or any other individuals. Sanders texted the same student athlete after the game and told him to delete their messages.
Before the December 20th game, a player overheard Donovan Sanders on the phone talking about throwing the matchup. Sanders even tried to recruit him into the scheme minutes before tip-off. When the teammate refused, Sanders texted him later, delete the messages. That alone tells you everything. Sanders and another player, Alvin Strand, were literally paid to ensure Mississippi Valley State lost a January 6th game. Imagine taking money to sabotage your own team. The NCAA's wild hypocrisy. Now here's where the story bends into insanity.
Is that the NCAA, the hypocrites that they are, as of November 1st, they now allow these athletes to bet on pro sports. So let's just get this habit going, shall we? The hypocrisy is all across the board, from the people that report on this, the ESPN, they have their ESPN Bet, the podcast, they have like their by FanDuel, by DraftKings, so on and so forth. Now you have the NCAA punishing players for betting on games, fixing games. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But on the other hand, you're now allowing these guys to bet on pro sports, getting them in the habit, getting them in the mode of betting on this crap before they weren't allowed to.
The NCAA is permanently banning these players, which they should. But on November 1st, the NCAA also approved rules allowing athletes to bet on professional sports. So let's get this straight. They punish kids for gambling while teaching them how to gamble, while promoting apps through ESPN and sports media, while everyone swims in sponsorship money from DraftKings, FanDuel, ESPN Bet. You name it. It's like handing someone the keys to a race car and then acting shocked when they speed. The sports world normalizes gambling every single day, and then acts outraged when athletes act exactly like the system encourages. This isn't isolated, it's systemic. And remember, these three schools weren't connected. These players didn't know each other. Nobody was coordinating this stuff. That's actually scarier. It means the opportunity is so obvious. Players at different schools independently figured out the same scam, and the investigations all found the same pattern. Lying to investigators, deleting messages, third-party bettors, inside info, prop bet manipulation. This isn't an accident, this is fraud. And honestly, where are the criminal charges? Game fixing is illegal. This goes far beyond NCAA rules.
Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, all arrested for illegal gambling. In Damon Jones' case, in Chauncey Billups' case, in Terry Rozier's case. We're talking about fixing games. We're talking about rigging prop bets for benefits of others. Illegal behavior. In MLB, in Major League Baseball, we have Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz getting indicted on charges of rigging pitches, throwing balls purposely, taking heat off pitches to hit certain prop bets. And over the weekend...
Meanwhile, pros are doing it too. The college scandals are only part of the wave. Recently, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones got arrested for illegal gambling and prop manipulation. In MLB, Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were charged with altering pitches to influence prop bets. Michael Porter Jr.'s involvement, Jonte Porter's entire saga. Prop bets have created a system where players can literally profit by underperforming. Bet the under on yourself, then have a conveniently bad night. Who would ever know?
And you have to ask yourself, this guy shoots 85% from the free throw line. Why is he shooting so bad today? This guy finishes around the rim at a 60% clip. Why can't he hit a layup today? And then when you double that onto the women's basketball side, you just told me that this player was one of the best in the league. Why does she look incapable of making layups? Why does she look incapable of dribbling the ball? This player never fouls out of game. Why is she fouling out today? There's no difference in the defense she's playing today than she usually plays.
Every weird stat line now comes with suspicion. An 85% free throw shooter going 3 for 10, a star taking double the usual number of threes, a player fouling out early when he almost never fouls. Is it just a bad night, or is it something darker? And the WNBA, with lower scrutiny, fewer investigative resources, and smaller media focus, might be the most vulnerable league of all. That random 4 for 15 night suddenly looks a whole lot different, because for every player dumb enough to text, "We're throwing this game," there's another who simply plays badly at the right moment. No calls, no texts, no proof, just a perfectly timed off night that hits the exact prop bet someone needed.